Hello. It is week 10 of The Only Way Through, which started 10 weeks ago as a promise to myself, a commitment to myself that I was going to post a YouTube video and just share it and continue to show up every week in process, not really knowing what I was doing but I knew why, and I think the why for me is why not, and also to rewrite these old stories that I had that I don't follow through, and that I'm too scared or whatever. And I really just wanted a space where I could talk about that and be in process and share some of my creativity and talk about feeling creatively blocked or feeling creatively inspired. And so that is what this is. I am slowly rewriting those old stories for myself, and it's been 10 weeks of it, which is kind of a wild marker of time. But we're still here. Yeah, this week I've been feeling pretty hopeful. Definitely helps that we are having spring weather. Definitely makes a difference. But I've also been feeling more organically inspired to write, which for a while I was experiencing a lot of resistance to doing. There's kind of two things that I'll say about it. First being, I think sometimes when something isn't flowing creatively for me, I start to actually get afraid of even trying, because I'm afraid of that discomfort or of that feeling of being like, I sat down to do this thing and I can't do it. What does that mean about me? And I can go into a spiral. So there's that happening. And at the same time, I think it's a natural part of the creative process to have some time where we can't be outputting. We actually need to be absorbing things and sitting in stillness and listening and being around people outside and our surroundings, and it's interesting. Well, maybe it's not interesting. It's interesting to me that definitely my first instinct when creativity isn't flowing is to kind of berate myself, and then no wonder I don't want to even sit down to try, if it's gonna create this negative story for me, then why would I go and sit down and do that? But then what happens is I numb instead. So I avoid, numb, whether that's the good old scroll phone or just fill my mind up with other people's stuff, like listening to a podcast constantly, even if I'm not really paying attention to it, but I need just sort of talking happening around me. Or I'm listening to music, but I'm not really listening to music, it's just sort of there, and I'm sort of irritated by it, because actually what I need is to just be in the moment some of the time, and to go about my day and be able to just hear my own thoughts, and to go out in the world and be able to hear strangers' conversations, be able to hear the sirens and the garbage trucks and the birds and the life of the city that inspires me so much creatively, but if I have my headphones on, I'm not taking those things in. I'm disconnected. It's another form of stimulation, that I don't know, I would describe it as like artificial stimulation as opposed to the stimulation of going outside and just like seeing your neighbors and like hearing the neighbor's dog just bark. That's actually like bringing you into the present moment as opposed to like adding, you know, putting on the headphones and like adding something to the moment. Does that make sense? And you know, I think there's like a time and a place. Like sometimes there's nothing better than having your headphones on and listening to an album and going for a walk, or, you know, I think podcasts have a lot of value, and, you know, but sometimes I find that I'm doing those things, but I'm sort of also irritated in my body because on some level I know that I just need to slow down and to just like be. Whoa, as soon as I said that, the fridge turned off. Yeah, and just be like yesterday I was going to the grocery store. It was a beautiful day, which was helpful. And I was gonna make, you know, the journey to the grocery store, and I knew, you know, I'm just gonna go without my headphones so that I can take in the world around me. And then there's a part of me that was like, oh, it's gonna be a long walk without those headphones. You know, it's gonna be kind of uncomfortable sometimes because, you know, you won't have like that stimulation. And I was just kind of like, I had to push through that, you know? And then I went and I was able to hear things, and I think that fills up this well for me that starts to overflow, and then I feel inspired to write about what it is that I saw, you know, or this thing, it's quiet enough in my brain that I can take in my surroundings and feel inspired. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Let me know how you feel about that, if you have experience with that. I think it's important. And then for the part of me that, you know, berates myself when I can't, you know, when I'm not flowing writing, I think bringing compassion to that part and being like, it's all good, and then knowing how to move through it, you know? Today it's not going to be an output day. Today is a day where I just need to do something else for a while and come back to it, and that's okay, you know? So then the story doesn't build, the fear doesn't, I'm no longer resisting, just like opening the laptop and the book, you know, or the journal. Yeah. Was that rambly? Perhaps. Yeah, so I'll probably leave it there. Oh yeah, someone commented saying that maybe I could get people's feedback about what they'd like to hear, anything you'd like me to share about. And I'd definitely be curious and would try and incorporate what I feel like resonates for me and what I can do. So yeah, I'd love to hear anybody's thoughts. It's really amazing, like any of the comments, reading the comments, or knowing people are subscribing and watching. It makes me feel like I'm not just talking to an abyss, which I really appreciate. So thank you. And yeah, I think I'll leave it there for week 10. I hope you have a beautiful week, and let's keep getting unstuck and moving forward. All right, talk soon.